Hi, everyone. We're going to be taking a bit of a break from the usual tax and accounting. I'm going to be discussing a topic that appears quite frequently in discussions with clients. This week alone, I had two clients mention this topic, and I really need to address it. That topic is fear. One client said to me, and they were looking to start their own business. They said to me, Mina, I'm really worried and not sure how this new venture is going to work out. I'm not sure if I'm going to lose absolutely everything or do really well. So what I did was take a step back. I explained the concept of SWOT analysis, which is strength, weaknesses, components that are internal within us or within a business, and opportunities and threats. And these are external factors to us or to the business. They're things that are playing out in the industry or in the marketplace. And so one of the questions was, do you have any skills that are transferable to the new business? And the answer, surprisingly enough, was yes. I've managed this business and I've managed a petrol station. Now, both of those businesses are very, very similar to the business that the client is going to enter into. But that fear was still in the heart. And so Les Brown, and I'm not sure if this should be attributed to Les Brown or somebody else, because I know Nick Vujicic also uses it. They say that fear is an acronym for false evidence appearing real. So we see issues and our mind immediately goes into panic mode. And the benefit of sitting down and conducting a SWOT analysis is to realize how these various concerns that our brain has alerted us to can be addressed. Now, what's the benefit of writing something down instead of just thinking about it? Well, one study has shown that people who write things down are 42% more likely to hit that goal. Another study has shown that people who write things down are 1.2 to 1.4 times more likely to reach their goal. And the more detail you put into that goal, the more vivid you make it, again, the more likely that you will be able to achieve that goal. Scripture mentions do not fear 365 times. That's one time for every day in the year. It's clear that we're not supposed to be fearful. It's important to recognize that based on previous experience, our worst fears are never realized. And even when they are realized, we usually survive from the ordeal and the experience. And so it's very important the moment that fear starts to appear in our lives that we write things down. We take time to address the concerns, to come up with possible solutions that will help calm us down. And I remember when I first started in business, I had a night where I woke up and I couldn't go to sleep. And so instead of pondering and continuing to mull over the concerns that my mind was bringing up, I simply picked up a notepad and a pen. I wrote down all the things that I was afraid of, all the concerns that my mind was bringing up. On the other side, I wrote all the possible solutions. And within 20 minutes, I was fast asleep. Because that burden of having to think about those various things was lifted from my mind onto those pages. And so it allowed my mind to relax. That burden was now lifted. Now, there are a few books which really help addressing fear. One of them is by John C. Maxwell, which is called Sometimes You Win, Sometimes You Learn Instead of Lose. And so having a book like that in our book collection reminds us that, hey, it's not all bad. Even if something goes wrong, I'm going to learn from it. And one story that John Maxwell mentions in the book is of Morse and how the Morse code came about. And so that story is about Samuel Morse, who was working away and received news that his wife had passed away. Unfortunately, by the time the news was received by him, until the time he came back home, his wife was buried and the funeral was over. And being very frustrated by that, what he did was he started to look at a solution for faster communication. And that's how the technology of the Morse code came about. And he created that Morse code. So people communicate in real time. Yes, they still had to decipher the message using the Morse code, but it was significantly quicker than by homing pigeon, carrier pigeon, or the horse bringing that message. It's always important to understand that there's a way out of most situations and that we need to keep pushing forward. The biggest killer of fear is taking serious action. Another story is about someone who's going into mortgage broking for himself for the first time. And he mentioned that I'm no longer relying on salaries and wages. I am now going to be relying on commission solely. And I won't get paid until I receive or achieve that result, that commission. And so we spoke about some of the methods they could be using. For example, social media, communicating with multiple people about what this person does, how he can add value to their lives. We also spoke about their ability to convey how they can add value and how previously they were doing a fantastic job. This was in addition to speaking about various business structures that limit liability and protect the client. But the point we go back to is, although this particular client had the skill set and was more than capable of executing, if he went out on his own, fear still reared its ugly head. And so the exercise of writing down what they could do, how they could be adding value to their community, how they could be communicating with their community, how they could be building relationships, helped the fear to subside. And we went from fear to recognize the various opportunities that can be available to us. As always, I hope this video was helpful to you. Let me know if you want me to do similar videos in the future. I really did think I needed to pull away from talking about tax and accounting and really addressing fear. Because oftentimes it can completely paralyze us if we don't have it under control. Thank you for watching.